Everyone, hope everything is going well. Today, I'm going to be doing a video on the great one, the great curator. It's been such a long time doing a video. I wasn't even going to plan on doing a video anytime soon on this. Dan the card man sent me a DM saying that he was tipped off that um, the great one was talking about us. And he seemed really pissed when, he sent me that message. I was thinking to myself, okay, I'll take a look at it in the morning. And I listened to this and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a video on this because when you see people change the narrative like this and have somewhat of a following, that's when I'll respond publicly to this. And I want you all to listen to what the great one is saying.
Collective policy where we would gatekeep against these bad actors. Okay. And I use that word very specifically, gatekeep, because for some reason, all those stupid trolls give me a lot of shit when I say gatekeep bad actors. It's something that I've talked about early on in all my videos. I always talk about setting a very high standard of conduct within the hobby where we can easily weed out people that don't meet that high standard of conduct and we can get them out of there. Bad actors. And they always, those stupid trolls, all those other guys, AIH, Dan the Car guy, they all gave me shit about it. They're like, how dare you try to gatekeep people from the hobby? And they just totally missed the point of gatekeeping the bad actors. You know, they just thought I wanted to like keep people from the hobby. Like, why would I do that? Why would I?
So he's talking about this gatekeeping comment that Sports Card Radio put in a video, and noticed that he didn't mention anything about Sports Card Radio. Found that quite interesting. He took a shot at Dan and me instead, but regardless, he's talking about this gatekeeping and how we need to keep these bad actors out of the hobby. Well, newsflash, you are a bad actor of the hobby. I've done plenty of videos on you. And number one, we could go through them right now and discuss them. You showed a rock auto card, and this was from a couple of years ago. You said that, hey, I think I bought this card for 2,500 bucks. 6 days before, on receipts through eBay, he actually bought it for close to 1,500 bucks. I confronted him on it, and he just called me a hater. He could have just said, hey, look, I made a mistake in my video, and I misspoke. I buy a lot of cars. If he just said that, I would leave it alone. But 2-3 years after the fact, I'm still discussing this. And that's one of the issues. I think he makes up comps. Number two, I was in a chat and I was bashing shill bidding, the topic that he got into in this video. And I was saying that, hey, look, there's a lot of people shill bidding these zero cool cards of Gary V. I got blocked. I got kicked out from my AIH Sports channel from his chat. I don't know. Was he trying to be a bootlicker of Fanatics? Maybe. But the same topic now that he's talking about WWE, if you could go through the video, he was blasting the guy shill bidding a WWE card. Okay. So you have that. Now he's all of a sudden talking about these bad practices. Like early videos, he was talking about bad actors, but he aligned himself with, in my opinion, crooked people. He did a live stream, which he deleted. He was defending this Karl Marx dude. And he's saying, like, he was making all sorts of excuses regarding that. And I found that quite interesting. Why are you defending a crook, a criminal, I would argue, a guy who ran a Ponzi scheme? And were you talking the same way a couple of years ago regarding Marx cards, aka Karl Marx? No, you weren't. And the reason why you wanted to be positive during that time, because you read a paper from Josh Luber. In that paper, Josh Luber stated he stated something about the hype cycle. So in my interpretation, Great Curator was very positive in quotes because he wanted to prolong the hype cycle so he could potentially profit off of hype. That's my interpretation. I could be wrong, but he's never addressed that issue. The other issue is his bad actor. He was faking events in his video. He was staging content with daps. And I think Prism Guy was in the video, and there was Mojo as well. So if he's talking about bad acting, bad actors, he should look at himself. And the way that the Marvel PMG market went down, and now some people argue with me saying, hey, the Marvel PMG pump and dump came from certain auction houses, came from certain individuals. That wasn't him. The thing is, he was hyping it like crazy. And if you talk bad about it, you were considered negative, right? And it's just wild. You should take a look at what else he said. Let's take a listen further in what he's saying.
I want to keep anybody that would come in here and be a good person and collect. Why would I want to keep them out of the hobby? Okay,
yeah, why?
They are essentially just promote, or they are essentially advocating for bad actors. You know, they want shill bidders to be in the auctions. They want people to sell fake cards. They want scammers. They want all.
This guy is gaslighting his audience. Shill bidding? How many times have I called out shill bidders? I was called negative a couple years ago because I kept on talking about the Mahomes shill bidding. I talked about the Don Diego situation, which no one really wants to talk about because she's a woman. Okay, let's be real. No one wants to go after a woman these days. SJW tactics. We know how society works. Scams like Dan and me cover scams a lot more than everybody else. And speaking of scammers, I was calling out card porn way before everyone found out how shady this guy was. I knew something was up based on his behavioral patterns. They seemed bizarre to me. And he was also posting pictures of kids, by the way. And I think a lot of people are talking about the tree collectibles or whatever it's called. I discussed that in one IG video and how his Comp C store is up, which I find insane. But I was talking about these issues way before. Card porn was showing pictures of kids. He was managing a kids with cards account. Now I think it's no longer there. Why was card porn posting pictures of kids? I was saying. And people call me a nut job. And now this tree collectibles thing blows up. And it's just wild. And some people are even pointing the fingers at me, even though I was calling out the Epstein stuff, all the Island Boy stuff way before. And I believe that this has shadow banned my channel to a certain extent. I've noticed when I did a video on Bill Gates 4 or 5 months ago. I forget how many months ago, but I did a video. A couple of videos after that, my view count started to go down from my memory. So I'm thinking that my channel may be shadow banned. So me calling out all these scams, all this messed up stuff in society, I get called negative all the time and potentially shadow banned and get blacklisted from the hobby. So let's take a listen more to what he's saying. It's complete gaslighting on his end. And he was the one, by the way, defending Karl Marx. He was the one staging content. He was the one doing weird things with that Star Wars, which I called a pump and dump, right? Now, some people say, no, it's not a pump and dump. He was hyping it like crazy. And I had people message me from Dallas, and they didn't even agree with the way that he was moving with this. But let's take a look and listen to this.
Things. These
dogs and cats living together, total chaos.
You know, like, I don't get it. These are the people that we should be keeping away from the hobby. There's no room for people like this.
I agree.
And the reason that these people exist in the hobby is because there's no consequences for their actions. They can get away with it. You know, you cheat somebody, you scam somebody, you shill bid an auction repeatedly.
Now, were
And-
these people shill bidding through eBay or for another auction house?
eBay. You can't really
But
shill
can't
bid in
report it?
other auction houses.
Okay, I was wondering.
Because if you win, you have to pay for it. But on eBay, it's like this weird policy where you can just do whatever you want on eBay. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West, to be honest. But you know, I'm just thinking to myself, this is the time where, like Drake said, we as a community have to kind of come together and set a really high standard of conduct. That if people that are coming into our community cannot meet that conduct, then they don't get to be part of the Facebook groups. They don't get to be part of the
So he's talking about a high standard of conduct. Used to do videos with Daps. Daps went on video asking random women to sleep with them. Do you think that's a high standard of conduct? Card porn, by the way, also used to promote you like crazy. And then you went on the bandwagon calling them out once Rovalve and the individual from China did the expose. So it is what it is. I find it quite ridiculous that he's going on his mantra of, oh, we need to kick the bad actors out, even though he's tied to people that do shady things. He's done shady things. He lies about comps. I mean, he wanted to sell this Killmonger card, what, 20x compared to comps from previous sales? Or if you want to do like a PSA 9 versus PSA 10, he wanted to sell it for a ridiculous amount. He comes up with valuations like crazy. He sounds confident, so people are going to believe him. And half the country's naive, so of course they're going to believe a guy who is gaslighting their audience. Like now, all of a sudden that the market's down, he's all of a sudden focused on shill bidding. But a couple years ago, when I called him out, or I went on his stream and said, "Hey, look, people are shill bidding these Gary V cards, these zero friend cards, or whatever the hell it's called, V friends, zero cool. Yeah, that's what it was." And people got mad at me for exposing the truth at that time. And now it's popular to bash all the bad actors because the prices have come down. And they realized that positivity couldn't keep up. It didn't matter if you're positive or negative. It had to deal with macroeconomics and while the card market went down, which they won't acknowledge that people like me were talking about this a few years ago. Instead, Dan and me are not targets from them, but they want to say that we are wrong in calling him out regarding this gatekeeping comment. He is wrong because he is tied to shady individuals and done shady things. So it is what it is. Let me know what your thoughts. I think he's gaslighting as usual. Let me know, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.